Good morning and welcome to another ride, somewhat reflective ride this morning. For the past week I've been absolutely fortunate enough to ride with YouTuber Leonard, our guide Roberto, and 5 other cyclists from the UK in Italy. And what a fantastic week it was. I have to say that it's pushed me, which is great. It's kind of refocused my cycling a little. It's taught me a few things, and to boot, we had a really good time as well. So I'll be talking a little bit about that on today's ride. There are some highlight videos that I'll put on this channel that you can pick up and have a look at. So please do scan through those if you'd like to see what we got up to, particularly ride-wise. So the whole week was organised by a company called Inspired Italy. You can see that I'm actually wearing their rather nice complimentary cycling shirt. And I've got to say it was brilliantly organised. They took care of all the transfers to and from the airports, the transport to any activities that they laid on in the evenings. And also arranged for a host and a backup car. The host spent her time with a couple of the non-cycling partners, my wife included, and made sure that they were entertained. And if we rode out and stopped for lunch anywhere, the non-cycling partners were taxied out or rather driven out to join us, which I thought was a really nice touch. It kind of made it a little more of a holiday for everybody. And to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't have got a pass if I wasn't able to take my wife with me. Certainly not for a week in Italy anyway. So you'll have to excuse my Italian pronunciation, I'm afraid. I'll do my best, but I'm going to get it wrong. I do know that CH is pronounced K now. Took me all week to learn how to pronounce a pistachio. Obviously a pistachio nut, but hey ho. So accommodation was in a small family-run, almost boutique hotel. Each of the rooms were apartments in their own right with 2 or 3 bedrooms in it, although we had 1 apartment per couple or rider. Based in the village of Tuscany, the hotel being called La Fenoci, run by, like I say, a family. Simone, young chap, our host, I've got to say was superb in everything he did. Nothing was too much trouble. Board was kind of a super half board, I guess. So sometimes we had 3 meals at the hotel. Sometimes we had 2, depending on the day's ride. And sometimes we ate out in the evening in restaurants. And again, all food included. All we needed to pay for was our alcohol, which actually is pretty reasonable. And a week's worth of Vino Rosso and beer really didn't work out that expensive at all. With respect to the bikes themselves, you're able to hire a bike from Inspired Italy for the week. I believe they were Lapierre's, and they had a choice of regular muscle bikes or e-bikes. A few people opted, or a couple of people opted for e-bikes, and I can absolutely see why. While the rest opted for regular bikes. Personally, following my accident last year, I broke my back. I have my own bike set up exactly the way that I need it for comfort now, so I opted to take mine with me. First time I've taken my bike abroad on a plane, and I have to say, an absolutely painless experience. Just packed it properly in the case, pop it in the oversized luggage, magically it appears unharmed at the other end. So what about the cycling itself? Day one, or the Saturday that we arrived, was a little bit of a baptism by fire. The company Inspired Italy that ran the tours has an agreement with in actual fact, a jewellery company who manufacture precision smart trainers under the name Magnetic Days. And we were offered a free FTP test on the Saturday evening of our arrival. And again, our own bikes were placed on the trainers, or the rented bikes that we were using were placed on the trainers. And we did an FTP test. Our guide, Roberto, a young chap, ex-professional racer, still races mountain bikes, was absolutely fantastic. Explained the rules of the Italian roads to us a little bit, and then kept the group together brilliantly throughout the whole of the week. On the climbs, the e-bikes absolutely shone and countered any issues that anybody may have. On the flats, speed was kept relatively sane, sort of 25 kilometres an hour, which was enough, you know. It was a proper introduction to social cycling for me, rather than going as hard as you can or pushing all the time. It was just a gentle ride, social ride, really enjoyable ride. Not something I'm used to, but really opened my eyes to not worrying about figures and numbers and distances and everything, you know. There's a distinct lack of cypress trees on the countryside and mountains. So what have I learned, and what are my main takeaways? I mean, other than it was a fantastic week, both me and my wife, Linda, thoroughly enjoyed. We go back at the drop of a hat. I guess, personally, I'm very pleased with the way that I've recovered physically from my accident last year. Pushed myself to do things that I didn't think I'd be able to do. Not trained for Apennine climbs, certainly trained for distance, but not climbs like we faced. There's sometimes numbers, power, speed, push on the bike, just actually don't matter. There's a time and a place, obviously, but you know what? It's great to forget all that and just ride for the sake of riding. Ride in a group, be social, have a chat. Stop, have a coffee, have a cake. Be friendly, you know. There's definitely a place for that. It's a different sort of riding, a different sort of enjoyment. But one that it transpires I actually really enjoy. And also, don't go to any of these kind of things with any preconceived ideas about age, ability, the kind of bike people are riding, whether you'll be able to keep up, whether you're the best, yada yada yada, you know the story. If e-bikes allow people to enjoy cycling. And having seen them and having seen the joy they've brought this week to people and been outpaced by them on all bar one mountain, and I'm sure I could have got beaten by it up the first one we did as well. And I'm all for it, you know. It gets people on two wheels, it gets people in the outdoors. It can only be a good thing. It really, really can. The other thing that I personally need to take on board really is that if I've done something once, then really I damn well ought to be able to do it again. So on occasion for myself, a good dose of rule number 5 should apply. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Hope you enjoyed listening to me waffle, I guess, and give you some kind of account of what went on. As I said at the start, there are under 2 or 3 minute highlight videos on the channel, so please take a look at them. If anybody wants to follow me on Strava, feel free. Instagram, usual. Like and subscribe, yada yada yada. You know it. You've heard it a million times before. But thank you for watching all, and hopefully I'll be able to record something soon for you. Bye bye.